and then you see your principal being put on screen, and you're going, all right, can you do it? Are you going to tote that line? Because if you mess up, you're going down. Well, Umbrella Academy Season 2 did that for me. Let's see if they can hold this line well, or will they fall and understand why there's a bull in Bullfrog. Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond, where it's the Bullfrog and the one and only Newt. Face reveal at 100,000 subscribers. Come on, people, we want those subscribers. You want to see that face. It's a mug, not part of the collection, but it's a good mug. And this is Umbrella Academy Season 2. It's here. And the whole group, the whole family, that is nothing more than Michael Jackson impersonators, it feels like. Your emotional education is close to toddlers almost, people, I'm telling you. You are. The whole lot of you, the whole 7 of you, maybe, 7 of you. But now, after Season 1, you're back in time. You have no flux capacitor, you used one of your own, and you're now trapped in the 60s. And not all of you came back in the same year. 60, 61, 63, and months barely in between each other. How are these siblings that need a lot more therapy are going to survive this? How can the 60s survive them? Oh my goodness. I mean, JFK's going to get assassinated. How's Diego going to handle that? Whew, and Luther. You big ape. I want to slap you in the face sometimes. I really do, people. But Klaus, well, let me give you a better thing. I'm trying to do notes. I'm trying to do a better delivery for you people. And the plot is basically that. They're thrown off in the past, and they're trying to get together, and we get a repeat. That's right, the world's about to end in a few days, and it's up to 5 again to go around, try to find his brothers and sisters to save the day again, within a time limit, again. Rinse, wash, and repeat. What's the difference? Well, Klaus is the head of a cult. Luther, who I really want to slap across the face, is actually now being a bodyguard for a mafia. Vanya has lost her memory. You haven't seen that before. Yeah, I know how you feel. Matt Damon in those Bourne Identity movies. Yeah, Vanya's having your deal, but unlike you, yours is better. Oh, Allison. I heard a rumor. I think that girl is doing a lot more better than the rest of her family. And of course, her being trapped in the past during that time period with that skin tone. The first season had more quark randomness to it. This season, it's like they took that out. You know the characters now. Now it's see them here. There's no more quark. There's more humor. I found myself laughing a lot more. And I found it interesting that Klaus is actually a good teammate. In the first season, he wasn't part of his family most of the time, 80% of the time. Here, when he interacts with his family, it's suddenly Team Klaus. Who's ever teaming up with him, suddenly it gets better. Klaus was good, not just as the character, but all the teams he's working with and interacting with. It's just better. It's Klaus. Yes. And then there's the line. This is where Umbrella Academy Season 2 is going on dangerous territory. If they did it right, they would get the highest praise from me. If they just went meh, you're meh. Really? But if you get a toe out of the line, you're gonna get the horns. There's a reason why there's a bull in the bullfrog. I am going to tear you apart. Spain will look at you and go, we experienced running with the bulls, but running with the bullfrog, hey. I don't know why. I'm bad with Spanish accents. Running with the bulls, running with the bullfrog. The reason why this is my line. Vanya is basically somewhat adopted into this family. Sissy, Carl, and their son, Harlan. I think that's how they say it. It's a weird name. But Harlan has a disability. He can't talk. And there's some sounds that put him on edge. He has episodes. And now, there's my line. Why? Well, first off, that is my mom I think of immediately. My mom had to raise me. If you haven't seen any of my videos, I have something what's called a language impairment. Or, I forgot the abbreviation. That was my next door neighbors. They were a family of 6 or 7, and one of them will be forever 5 years old in that body. That was her. That was their family. There was my next door neighbor, right across the street, who dedicated her life for special needs as a teacher. My aunt, on my mom's side, dedicated her life to that same thing. I tried my best to work 6 months as a job with special needs kids, trying to be a part of that school, see if I can do it. I couldn't, but it doesn't mean I saw that realm and went, wow. And there's also my cousins. One of them born deaf. I see my aunt raising her. I see her sister, whose son was born with a club foot. And that boy, throughout all these years, he's not even close to 8, has been through surgeries. Almost his entire childhood has been with a cast. So when you do that, show this mother raising a handicapped child, a child who can't speak, who has episodes and certain sounds get him to almost a seizure state, this line suddenly gets the sniper scope on Umbrella Academy. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do good? Well, you want to know my answer? Because this is one of the most important things for this show. Is it going to tote my line? Is it going to do good? Is it going to get high praise? Yes, 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 you did right. Are you going to get meh? Or is your toe, that one toe off the line, going to get my horns? And I'm a bullfrog, so I hop. Do they do it or not? Let's find out. This is Sissy talking.
Do you know what it's like when you have a man who can't see you? A son who won't talk to you?
Did you hear that? Let's go back.
Do you know what it's like when you have a man who can't see you? A son who won't talk to you?
One more time. You may be saying, what are you doing, Bullfrog? Listen, and you're going to get to know the horns.
Do you know what it's like when you have a man who can't see you? A son who won't talk to you?
Do you know what it's like to have a man who won't see you, comma, and a son who won't talk to you, period? Do you notice the flaw in that thing? This is a mother of a child that can't talk. She hasn't heard him speak a word as long as she's known him. And she uses that verbiage, won't talk. These writers failed exponentially bad. Why? That word, won't talk. Won't is independence, people. Won't is something a child will do. A child won't listen to you. A child cannot promise they won't have a tantrum. A child, if you say don't do that and they do it, they are willing to do things. Won't is independence. Won't is a choice. Won't is a meaning, is the linchpin of that sentence that ruined everything for that character and for these writers and everything. Why? That kid has never spoken a word. How can he have independence to say something when he never had independence to begin with? That is terrible writing. That moment of sympathy for Sissy is forever gone. But what do I know? It's not that I am trying to be a writer. It's not that I haven't tried so hard to do this. After all, this is all nothing. This is going to amount to nothing. Oh, and all this is just me trying to write a book series. It's not that I'm trying. I'm doing my very best to make sure my words, which have always been hard for me, do good. That a character can emote well. That a conversation can have its most important piece. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot this one other thing. So that pile is really all of this. I am trying hard to write. And I've realized certain words can make a sentence better. You want to know, I've grown up seeing those neighbors, seeing that neighbor in particular. I will not give away their names. I want to protect them. But seeing that family raise that boy, and they will forever raise that boy. When they moved, I saw the impact that kid left. It is powerful. You won't forget it. And if you want to understand the special relationship between a mother raising that child, and you want to experience that, I'm going to suggest a few titles. Adam. Of course, that was a son and his father, and you got to see when the father was gone how the son lacked. But there was Adam. There's Temple Grandin, done by HBO. It won an Emmy, I think. It is a really good movie. I highly recommend it. And you saw how hard that mother struggled. She grew up in this same time period. And mental learning at that time was just as bad with some places. But that mother, raising Temple Grandin around this time period, did go out of her way to get her daughter diagnosed. It was autism. And at the time, they believed children got autism because their mothers didn't love them. Well, I can tell you, after watching that movie and at the very end of it, I knew that woman would gladly give those doctors the middle finger. Double deuced. Because she loved Grandin. She did everything she could. If you want to know more, watch Mr. Holland's Opus. And that scene, that moment where their deaf child is having a hard time trying to say what he wants to his mom, and his mom is having a tantrum to the father going, please, I want to be able to communicate with my son. I may be botching these words, but Mr. Holland's Opus has that scene, that moment. And there's this Japanese manga called Living with the Light, where a mother's trying to raise an autistic boy, a baby boy, and her husband leaves her for a bit. He blames her. And what do? My child won't speak to me. Bad, people, that's bad. And I am against spoilage. But this broke the camel's back. You thought that sentence did it. You're wrong. Spoiler warning. Newt will probably do the technical stuff. I'm sorry if he wants to slap me after this. Probably. Well, anyways, I'm still going to do it. Spoiler warning. But at the end of this season, Sissy is going to leave her husband. And the husband takes the son and throws him in the car, and he says this: I'm going to do what she should have done. I'm going to take our boy to the doctors. You're telling me this entire time, this mother who says she loves her son refused to go to any doctor? It's the 60s, Bullfrog. Mental health wasn't that bad. Look what Temple Grandin's mother did. Look at this documentary, Teachings of John, about a full-grown man treated like a baby when he was in the institution. But when that mother came, saw that, she pulled him out. When you do that, I'm sorry. When you refuse a chance to have a communication with your son, you want to be able to connect with them, and yet you refuse to go to any doctor? My daughter is deaf, but I'm not going to take her to a doctor. My son has a club foot. I'm never going to take him to the doctor. My son will be forever a 5-year-old in his mind. I'm not going to take him to a doctor. Bad on multiple levels. This is not Costanza. This is the horns of the bull in the Bullfrog, people. You writers failed bad, but it's in the comics. If it is, that is worse. I am sorry, people. That is bad. That is not love. That is selfish. That is cruel. That is bad. And families will watch this. Well, I hope not. It's not that because it's a little which it is in this season. There was not that much in season 1. And sorry, people, you had to watch that, but really? You want sympathy? Failed. Do you know, when I first saw this and I heard that sentence, I went, what? Go back, what? Go back, what? And at the end, when I heard that scene, oh my goodness, my parents weren't home. Windows were probably rattling. There was probably a small mini earthquake in this house with my fury. You didn't want your son to go to a doctor? What were you guys thinking? Of course, I bet they highly doubted some guy who actually language impairment, who is also trying to write a story, book series, whatever, review them. And I had a number for it, but after that whole thing, where I'm going to put it? Well, this is going to be weird. Well, those of you who haven't seen my YouTube channel, we rate movies from 1 to 7. And 4 is the middle. 4 is that magic halfway mark. Where a 1 is I will gladly watch marrying Kate and Ashley, those 90s ones where they were off of Full House fame, I'll gladly watch those and say it's Shakespearean. And gladly say it, then watch what I just watched. Or 7 is something I could watch over and over and over again and love it and praise it and analyze it and go, what is going on here? Where does Umbrella Academy go? Well, it could have been a 4. But after that, this is a 3. It's not a 2 because everyone else saved this show. Not because Ellen Page, I know the actress is a lesbian, and they have these lesbian scenes. You almost have to fast forward. It's not hardcore, but it's like, Newt, can you do this for me? See this image? No, I want an image right here of a bare back. I mean, a bear's back. Because there's a lot of bare backs in this. But the LGBTQ thing didn't bother me because it was that line that I hold dear destroyed it. You're lucky you have Klaus. You're lucky you have Diego. You're lucky you have Allison and number 5, who bothered me a lot of the time, but yet he won me at the same time too. What a conundrum. I hate your performance and yet I love it. And of course, Ben, I love you, Ben. You did good here, Ben. But Diego is the one that saved all of you. Everyone else saved this. And oh, before I forget, yes, you're a 3. You are a 3. Before I forget, I want to give praise. The first season, the commission people, I didn't find them threatening. Here, they were threatening. It was actually scary. Everyone from the commission, I was going, wow, you're actually a threat. Wow, I'm actually intimidated. I'm actually scared. You Swedes, yeah. The fish. I want more of the fish. Is it weird? I see this goldfish and I want to go, I want him to be the main villain more than anyone. I want to see that little fish be intimidating. It sounds so stupid, but watch the show. Yes, it is a 3. Yes, I tore this thing apart. Yes, they crossed my line. It wasn't a toe. It was more like, here's that guy on the tightrope. They're doing their balance, and then they deliberately jumped off. That's what they did with my line. And yet, everything else saved this show. If it wasn't for everyone else, if it wasn't for Diego, this would have gotten a 1. But of everyone else, this gets a 3. And 5 and Luther got me laughing out loud. Klaus he didn't really steal the show, he was hilarious. Allison's story, I felt like, was the best. And the twists and turns of this story was really great. This is the 60s, so I'm not going to spoil, but there's a character that's here, a character they can interact with, a character that made the stories really good. And Diego, oh my goodness, he was the one that really stole the show this time. Diego. Whew. Oh my goodness, people. Don't you dare mess with the bull and the bullfrog. Costanza is one thing, the bull is something else. Well, this is the Bullfrog and the Newt signing out. Oh my goodness, that was bad.